The timeline of Evan Rachel Wood's allegations against Marilyn Manson start all the way back in 2007. My real big question out of all of this is, why the heck does she continue to work with what she now perceives as such a monster for years afterwards? Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef The Alter Nerd, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to another dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the news and true crime stories of the day that's pretty much caught my eye. And yes, this is now continuing as an actual series into my investigation to the Marilyn Manson allegations by Evan Rachel Wood and a variety of other women that have since come forward. You're coming with me on my journey to better educate myself about the situation so I can make an informed decision really on who I believe, because at the moment I'm still on the fence. I'm not too sure, but the more I look into it, the more I'm thinking something is definitely sus. In today's video, we look into the working relationship between Marilyn Manson and Evan Rachel Wood. Now, bear in mind, the timeline of her allegations pretty much starts in 2007 with that music video, Heart-Shaped Glasses. The thing, though, that I don't really get in the grand scheme of things is that if he was such a monster as she alleges with that video situation, why the deuce then would she have worked with such a monster for years afterwards on a pretty much regular basis, guys? I don't know. Something's just not quite right. I'm going to break it all down for you. Before I do so, though, a little bit of housekeeping. Firstly, YouTube human reviewer, I see you lurking. I'm not going to say any trigger words or anything that's going to offend your ear holes. And to everyone else awesome enough to have clicked on this video, hi, welcome. How are you doing? If you love news and true crime on the daily, served with a little bit of sass and gobbiness, which is basically this, right? Do make sure you click on that subscribe button, like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And let's jump into this, shall we? As ever, big shout out to Colonel Kurtz for introducing me to this whole situation with Marilyn Manson. Her YouTube video channel link will be in the description bar below, as will all the links that I'm showing you right now in terms of all my research. So, full transparency, you can have a gander at it all as well in your own time and leisure. With that being said, we start off with the Instagram account at Stand By Your Manson, who put together this wonderful Instagram post. So essentially, we start right at the beginning. How the deuce did Marilyn Manson and Evan Rachel Wood actually meet? Well, in Marilyn Manson's words, he says that he met her by sheer strange coincidence. I hadn't been really leaving the house. I had no real desire to do much of anything. We met and we talked about movies, and I was very surprised that she liked a lot of the things that I like. A couple of weeks later, we met at a Radiohead concert. It was maybe one of a handful of friends that I was able to have or maintain the ability to be around. That's how our friendship began. She was somebody who, in the very rare occasion, had the same taste in a lot of the same movies as me. And not just in a deep, philosophical Ingmar Bergman, Roman Polanski sense. It was something as simple as her mentioning that she thought the director's commentary to Showgirls was ridiculous and hilarious. And that takes a specific sense of humor. The movie has a certain irony in my life. So that, in Marilyn Manson's own words, is how they met in the first place. Friendship based on shared interests. Okay, fair enough. So far, so okay, right? Now, how their working relationship then began from that friendship was back in 2006 on this project called Phantasmagoria. And so she meets with Marilyn to discuss potential roles within this project. Now, she claims that she co-wrote the film script, but no. If you look at this article from MovieWeb, and this was published on 31st of January 2006. This was before Marilyn Manson met Evan Rachel Wood. It was announced, this film, Phantasmagoria, The Visions of Lewis Carroll, was announced. And it literally says Marilyn Manson penned the script with Anthony Silver. And that fashion model Lolly Cole will star as Alice, with Angelina Jolie in negotiations to play the Red Queen. Firstly, no mention of Evan Rachel Wood in any of this. So did she actually help write the script for Phantasmagoria? Well, based on the evidence that I've seen, nope. No, she did not. Now, she does mention in this Nylon interview that we will be referring to a few more times that Wood herself seemed slightly unsure as to what exactly is happening with Phantasmagoria at that point, but she hopes to work on it. She says, it's an amazing script. He did a really, really great job on it, and he filmed a trailer for it. She says it's going to look beautiful. Talking about the film was also something that initially brought them together. So, do I believe that she wrote the script as it's being claimed? No. Do I believe that maybe she may have had some creative influence on it? Potentially. But there's a little kind of hole there that's just being poked, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever. Now, next up is when really the timeline of these horrific allegations actually start. 2007, the Art-Shaped Glasses music video. So this video was heavily influenced by Evan Rachel Wood's interest of Bonnie and Clyde and true romance. And this actually is true because when it comes to, again, this Nylon interview, it says, when it came time to do a video for it, Manson and Wood were watching a lot of movies like True Romance and Bonnie and Clyde because, quote, that's kind of how we were feeling at the time. They started to write their own script and it eventually turned into the treatment for the video. And when the video was released, Wood admits things got even crazier than she ever thought they would. All these rumors started floating around and everybody thought we were just trying to exploit our relationship, but it wasn't supposed to be playing ourselves. It was just a music video. It was a video. Now, the allegations that she poses towards Marilyn Manson in regards to this video is quite horrific. However, from what she is saying here, she helped write the script for it. Helped influence then the treatment for the video. So she's partially then responsible in regards to what is shown in that video, right? And then she is very much adamant that they're not exploiting the relationship. It ain't a boom boom tape, right? It's just a music video. It's just a video. So when you see that quote from that interview, right, and you juxtapose that to the allegations that she's posing now in regards to that video, to me, it don't make sense. The allegations don't make sense to what she was saying at the time. See where I'm coming from? Now, if it did happen, why then would she continue to work with such a monster for years beyond that on a regular basis? Case in point, the Eat Me, Drink Me album artwork. Now, at the time of shooting the music video, the album artwork was also being created. And she would feature heavily within the booklet, back of the CD, everywhere. As you can imagine, when it comes to Marilyn Manson, the photos, styles very dark, very stylized, very provocative. And when you look at these pictures, you think, okay, if he was such a monster, and I think this is a legitimate question here, then why would you then choose to do these kind of pictures with such a monster? Oh, no. It just, again, doesn't add up, right? And here's some more here. Now, in regards to the press tour, okay, so he goes to Europe to promote the album, this press tour. She's attending these events, guys, with Marilyn Manson, and she's in these heart-shaped glasses, similar clothes to the music videos, part of the promotion, right? This Lolita style, quote unquote. Now, the Lolita style is all on her. It wasn't Marilyn Manson, because this is literally out of her own gob, you guys. With this interview, she says, Wood for her part insists she would have done the video even if she and Manson weren't dating, just for a chance to work with him. When I ask her about how the idea for the video came about, she laughs. Well, first came the heart-shaped glasses, she says. I've had them since I was 15. Because I used to dress like Lolita. Not like full on, but I always had something. Like I wore ruffle socks every day, even if I was wearing jeans and saddle shoes, and would sometimes do my hair in braids. When we started hanging out, I knew that people would immediately make the Lolita reference, and so as a joke, I showed up at his house one day wearing the glasses. He said he was going to write a song about it. And he actually did. So, guys, again, out of her own gob, this whole Lolita style that was happening during this whole video and the press tour for it and everything, she's literally saying in that interview there at the time, that style was all hers, even before she met up with Marilyn Manson, even before. And so then we get on to the live shows of the heart-shaped glasses. And she goes on stage and she's taking part. And there is, in terms of like eyewitness statements and people that were reviewing the tour at the time, this, that, and the other, like this website here, right? You can see here more pictures of Evan Rachel Wood on this particular tour. It doesn't look like anything's wrong at all. She's just there, and she just seems to be having a good time. And if she wasn't, then why would she be appearing show after show doing this? Right? And so we move on to later on down the line in 2007. An unreleased music video was created for the second single, Putting Holes in Happiness. The first video featured shots in Berlin with footage of Evan Rachel Wood within the house where the press events also took place. Then back in, then a year later, or basically 2008, you have the Wow video and the photography. Now, they'd conducted several photo shoots and began pre-production for more visuals for the next album, which was being created. One piece of work was footage now known as a video for Wow, which is just a few seconds looped, same forward as backwards, just like the word wow. And you can see here on Evan Rachel Wood's IMDb, she literally has it as a credit on her IMDb that she actually, you know, was a part of this. Just like the heart-shaped glasses video, she's officially recognizing that there, right? Now, shots from the shoot was also part of Marilyn Manson's photography section on his website. But it wasn't really, I don't think, fully released because they split then at that point. And then the work didn't really appear until they got back together. So the split caused them to postpone this work until 2010. You see there, because this all started in 2008 for the WoW video and the photography, but on her IMDb, it ain't released until 2010. From when they split up and then they got back together kind of situation, you know what I mean? But again, as soon as you split up with such a monster, you'd want to go back to them. Now, I know there are instances that does happen, this, that, and the other, but I still think that, you know, maybe it might be a legitimate question. I don't know. It's just what's in my head right now. It just, you know, something just don't smell right here. And then 2009, you then got the promotional photography by Evan Rachel Wood, and this is for the High End of Low album. Now, these are some of the other photos from that particular shoot that she did. And the promotional photography also appears that Evan Rachel Wood is behind Marilyn Manson in the lead press photo for the High End of Low. Her legs are only visible, likely intentional to play into the album theatrics, which would also become a live theatrical element on stage later in the year. Then we move on to the I Want to Unalive You Like They Do in the Movies. This is the music video featuring both Evan Rachel Wood and Esme. And so Evan Rachel Wood influenced and created the music video for this, but it was also shot with Esme. It was inspired by Marilyn Manson's breakup with Evan Rachel Wood, but then she came back and was involved with basically creating the visuals for this particular video. The project then was not released due to another split between them. However, in 2010, video intros on the official Marilyn Manson website appear to use elements of the footage, which was inspired by Evan's role in the movie 13, which you can kind of see here, right? Now, when he kind of talks about this particular video, and when he talks about, you know, the making of the video, the making of the music, this, that, and the other, the interviewer says, it sounds like the period after you and Evan Rachel Wood broke up was really tough. What was your lowest point? And he says, look, I did have an experience where I was struggling to deal with being alone and being forsaken and being betrayed by putting your trust in one person and making the mistake of that being the wrong person. And that's a mistake that everyone can relate to. I made the mistake of trying to desperately grasp on and save that and own it. And every time I called her that day, I called 158 times. I look back and it was a stupid thing to do. This was intentional. This was... as you can see here, I wanted to show her the pain she put me through. It was like, I want you to physically see what you've done. It sounds made up, but it's completely true, and I don't give a shiz if people believe it or not. Oh, is this record about your relationship with your ex-girlfriend? But that damage is part of it, and the song is about my fantasies. I have fantasies every day with then what he says there. Now, bear in mind, in terms of looking at the full context, right? Could he have meant it? Yeah. But then on the other side of things, he is a shock rocker. There's a lot of things that Marilyn Manson has said that he hasn't actually meant, but he does it to shock. For the shock value, right? To build up this persona of Marilyn Manson, shock rocker, right? So there is an argument to say that you could use that last part of the quote really with a pinch of salt. Do you know what I mean? Now, going back to 2010, she continues to shoot promotional photography for Marilyn Manson. early concepts, ideas for the new album, visuals, all that lot. And it all goes on Marilyn Manson's social media. And later on that year, she then appears in a biography special by A&E. And she speaks highly and fondly of Marilyn Manson as a person and his career in music and art. I mean, quite frankly, I mean, you can literally, she's here and she is speaking warmly, kindly, not even a hint of he is a monster. Like, none of that at all. And this is 3 years after when the, you know, the really horrific kind of allegations start to begin from her. Watch it. The link will be in the description bar below. You be the judge. Again, something doesn't look right with this picture. It really doesn't. And so, as we continue on, we then go to Splatter Sisters. In June 2010, she's casting a new film by Adam Balaloff that would also feature Marilyn Manson, who has the power of mind control. And she would have played one of the sisters. It was literally announced, this is a website, thefilmstage.com, on May the 17th, 2010. And it says here, the on-again, off-again couple of shock rocker Marilyn Manson and actress Evan Rachel Wood are definitely on again, and the duo will even be appearing together in an upcoming film aptly titled Splatter Sisters. The couple who have been dating since 2007 will be directed by Adam Loff, and the film is being conceived as a tribute to early 90s direct-to-cable thrillers. Now, in regards to then what happens at that point, well, that's pretty much then the end of their professional relationship and they split up and all that malarkey. And now we're at this point where she's making some severe allegations against Marilyn Manson. But when you look at all the evidence and all the research that I've done into their working relationship from beginning to end, right? To me, it's like, well, firstly, as I mentioned earlier on, the horrific allegations pretty much start in terms of the timeline of that 2007 music video, heart-shaped glasses music video. That is actually the case, and that actually really, really happened. Then why did she continue to professionally work with Marilyn Manson and be with him romantically on and off for years later, consistently working with him? Not like one-off projects here and there. No, this was consistent. Like multiple times a year, she was working with Marilyn Manson. She wrote scripts for the music videos, did photography for him, appeared on stage multiple nights on his tour. So much, was going to appear in a film with him. If he's such a monster, then even, let's say, regardless of, you know, the romantic relationship, why she went back to him, this, that, and the other, even if you take that out of the equation, if he's such a monster, why did she continue to have that regular professional relationship with him, where she is regularly working with him on projects, like multiple projects a year, guys? And what she was saying at the time, when it comes to that art-shaped glasses music video, Phantasmagoria, with that nylon interview article that I found, to what she's now saying at this point, there's clear contradictions. And those contradictions, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, I really don't think Evan Rachel Wood has actually really properly tried to explain. For me then to think, oh, hang on a minute, actually, those contradictions, well, that makes sense then now. I'm not there. So it's a case of, help me, make it make sense. Because she's now saying this, but back then she was saying that, like, what? So for me, because of all these contradictions and all this evidence that I found, I'm sorry. Something's still wrong with this picture when it comes to her allegations. And to me, they're on very, 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 very shaky ground. Now, if you haven't watched my previous video, I'll have that linked in the description bar below, because the way that these allegations were put together, let's say, between all these women that are now coming forward against Marilyn Manson, how it was all organized, that in itself is also sus. So I do highly recommend that you watch that video as well and you get up to speed in terms of my educational journey into the allegations of Marilyn Manson. Are they true or not? With that being said, enough with my gob. It's now time for your gob. Sound off in the comments down below. Now that I've broken down Marilyn Manson's working relationship with Evan Rachel Wood and provided you with supporting evidence, guys, what do you think? Would you have continued to multiple times a year have a professional working relationship with such a monster? Would you really? Guys, let me know your thoughts. And if you love this video and love news and true crime on the daily served with a little bit of sass and gobbiness, which is basically this, right? Do make sure you click on that subscribe button, like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until the next time, you guys, laters.